Okay, guys, I'm gonna be reviewing Survivor Season 40, Episode 10. I really like the loved ones visit, obviously, as this being the loved ones visit episode. I love that they brought their whole family out. Obviously, we knew that there probably wasn't gonna be any challenge. Obviously, there wasn't because they're not gonna send those kiddos packing. But nonetheless, I think I liked the episode. It wasn't my favorite episode this season. Thought it was interesting that they also gave the Edge competitors their family, but I knew that it made sense that they would. Like, imagine they sent all the family out not only for the competitors in the game. As fair as that was, I think that I couldn't imagine that. Obviously, we had some product placement as well with the airlines thing. But I think the one thing I could complain about this episode was that because the loved ones visit nearly took up half of the show, half of the episode. It took away from really establishing the strategy of this episode because that was a little bit confusing. Because it's like I understood that they were the core five. It's two fives going at each other, and one of the main all alpha five is gunning for Jeremy. I said alpha five because they're the ones that have the power. I feel like, especially with them. But Kim has their idol and Jeremy has their safety without power. But I think the big thing I really wanted to know is how did the five really start? Like, it's not even like a 5 tight alliance. It's like a 5 voting block for this episode. Because in this season, there's no real alliances besides maybe Sarah and Tony and Sarah and Sophie. So I guess Sarah's the only one that's genuinely in alliance with Tony and Sophie. That's really it. Nobody else is in like that tight alliance. I mean, even then, it's like you could tell that there's such a tough group of competition that a drop of a needle, the votes can change, and you see that every episode. Talking at Tribal Council, which for me, I think is fun. Like the first few times talking at Tribal Council goes on, but like now it just like is boring and confusing because you don't know what they're whispering about. You have to, because like after the votes are read and after it's like, oh, Tyson's going back to the edge, you're left to pick up the pieces, and not in a good way, I'd say. And so I think that is an interesting note to bring up, as well as just realizing like, I was surprised that Kim ultimately played her idol at all, because it's like I knew that they were not going to vote for Kim because, and I think Kim knew that too because she knows Sophie knows she has an idol, so Sophie knew that if they were going to put the votes on Kim, there's a big chance Kim will play her idol. So Kim knew it wasn't going to be her. But I would have saved the idol if I was Kim. Like, again, Kim is one of my winner picks. I say that every time. It's Nick and Kim as my winner picks. And so, I feel like if I were her, I would have held on to my idol. Because it's not even, like, worth saving someone in the 5. Because you know that at any moment, again, like I just said, at a drop of a needle, it could change. Guarantee you, there's no such thing as a 5v3 next week. So that's the kind of point I'm trying to bring up. And Michelle ended up flipping anyways. Jeremy left. So it's not like you're saving people who will have your back. And it's not like I blame Jeremy for leaving. I would have done that 9 times. I would have done that again every time. Because like if your name's being brought up, why risk you getting voted out just to save your, again, voting block of any sorts? And so I think if you were so confident that you weren't going home, then why would you save Tyson? Or not Tyson, Denise. I mean, I guess, like, just to make the friendships closer, the bonds closer. Because, like, but I don't know. Especially with what Denise did with Sandra. It's kind of like you're that willing to save her? Like, I don't know. It's kind of fishy. Like, I get why it's like if Denise was Kim's number 1, I get why Kim would do that, but it never really presented itself as Denise being Kim's number 1. And so Tyson going home. I mean, I think like obviously, I'm sure Tyson's name was brought up at all the tribal councils he was in post-merge, but it never really went with anything with Tyson being voted out. And like even now, he was never really brought up. And so, it's interesting. So I'm like thinking, it's like I don't like Survivor has always been like you still go blind into the vote, but when the vote comes out, it's clear what's happening. But for a lot of votes this season, you've kind of been in the blindness. You kind of have to guess and predict what has already been seen. You know what I mean? But I get it. After seeing how the votes ended up panning out, I get it. They wanted to steal a vote to kind of as a way to split the vote, because you could do it with 5. But still, if they did play an idol, the 2 votes didn't matter. So the 3 vote, getting that 6 vote, at the very least, would call, if an idol was played, a 3-3 tie. And so I think that was interesting. But they played the idol for Denise, which would have caused a 3-3 tie, but Michelle flipped. Michelle voted for Tyson. Actually, even then, like now it's confusing because like it was never a 3-3 tie. It was a 5-2 for two for Sophie, 5 for Denise, 2 for Sophie. Or not, 5 for Tyson, 2 for Denise, 2 for Sophie. That's how the votes ended up. So Michelle and I'm still a little bit confused. And that just goes to show you with kind of what should never have happened in the first place, that kind of confusion. But anyways, the votes ended up going. Yes, I know how the votes went. I'm just kind of trying to start to pick up who voted for who. So, stay tuned for more videos coming right at you.